Warning: the following video is extremely disturbing. You've been warned.
She has my every sympathy. Anyone who suffers with an ED, it's horrible. I suffered with one myself. I'm in recovery, have been for years now. Do have the odd blip here and there, but I'm healthy now. I'm a healthy weight, all that jazz. And it is a horrible thing, but I kind of think that that's what kick-started everything. Thank you for joining my team, Rach. Oh, he's joined the live, Pixie. Oh, okay. Gramps, welcome to the live. I'm sorry about your battle, but I have no doubt whatsoever that you're going to be fighting strong, because every Gramps I know fights strong. Well, every Granny I know fights strong as well. I nearly read your name, Dolly, then the second word I read is a completely different word. Basically, it just means you're part of my team, so it means that you'll come up in the viewer thing at the top. And plus it sends me like a little gift thing. See, mind the fae, my clock keeps on disappearing on my phone. I think it's my phone. You don't have to worry about joining, Kaz. It's not a problem. I don't expect anyone to join. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Carla. I'm feeling the love tonight. I'm okay. I messed up with my meds, and I haven't taken one of my meds for a week. And so I've just started taking it again yesterday. So I think that's why my brain's going a bit funny. Hi, Rach. It's green at the minute. Is it dark green, deep shadows, or is it a light green? I'm going for pink on the top, fluorescent pink on the top, and then purple underneath next. Oh, thank you, Emily May. Yeah, I am going to have people coming up and joining in a second. Mind the Fae. Sorry, accident hit request to join. No, you don't have to say sorry, Alice. I am going to have people coming up in a minute. Hi, Ames. Hi, Summer Woodage. Oh, what was that? Hang on 2 seconds. Hang on. Where did that go? Where did that go? Wait. Someone just said something about, did you know she admitted last night? Did you hear last night she admitted she's not actually diagnosed with arthritis yet? Boom. Thank you, Rachel. I did not hear that. Christy, can you see what comment was filtered then, please? If it's an okay comment, can you let it come up? Yes, do get the popcorn ready. Hey, Ophelia. Love that name. That was going to be the name of my son if he was a girl. Thank you, Alex. It is the best name. Emily is the best name, even though my name was purely by accident. So the Ed is why she got the tubes. I'm not sure if she got the tubes because of the Ed, but I know that part of her Ed was actually her refusal to take in nourishment, and so she was given a singular. Thank you for joining my team, everyone. She was given a singular tube originally to be fed through the tube. They removed her diagnoses. It would not surprise me if they removed her diagnoses at all. Yeah, don't worry about it. I've got cats running around like loons, so it's all good. Okay, Christy, I'm guessing that person said something that was not okay. Hey, Summer. Yes, I think I am going to do it that way. Hi, Grace. Did I see what you sent me on Facebook? When did you send it to me? If it was today, then no. If it was another time, then yes. Hannah, what made me start to be suspicious of Kay? That's actually a really good question, and it's a little bit complicated. So, basically, I modded along with a group of others. She always has a group of mods. There was a group of us all together that were modding for her, and at that time we were inundated with trolls. Now I say it like that. They could have been actual trolls, I kind of have the feeling, given what was to follow, that they weren't, and that they were people she knew and people she'd got. Thank you everyone for the heart me's. If I don't say thank you to anyone for gifts, I'm really, really sorry, but thank you to everyone for heart me'ing me. Yeah, so we had lots of trolls, and so we thought we'd worked out who one of these trolls were. And they were sending all of us mods private messages and like not very nice messages about ourselves or about Kirsten. And so one of the mods said, look, we're going to go off your live, Kay, and we're going to go and do our own live. And we basically left all together so we could so it would look as though we were all jumping ship, because we knew that would get the troll to follow us. So lo and behold, the troll followed us, and we worked out we thought we'd worked out who it was. And so we were like, bang, we got you banged to rights. And then each of us, one by one, got sent a screen recording of Kirsten on her live slagging us all off. And we were like, whoa, no, what the fuck? So we sent her messages, got loads of abuse back. We messaged in the mod chat, got loads of abuse back. Even after we explained to her why we'd done what we'd done, she still gave us a ton of abuse. If anyone else, I can see that there's 84 messages. I will get to you. I'm just trying to make it through everyone's questions. So we all kind of went, well, fuck this. And we decided we were having a break, at least for that night, because we weren't going to be spoken to like that. There was no need for it. We were doing what we were doing for her, not for us, for her. So one of the girls, it might have been me, it might have been one of the others, I can't remember, but someone said, oh, did she ever tell you how she became paralysed? And that's when it all started falling apart, because each of us had heard a completely different story about how she'd become paralysed. I was told it was tumours down her spine. One of the other girls was told it was a seizure. One of the other girls was told it was an accident, like a physical accident. One of the other girls, we found out later, was told it was a car accident. And one of the other girls was told that when she had a seizure, she banged her head, and that's what paralysed her. Obviously, most people have heard iterations of those stories, or they've heard slightly different versions of those stories, like the hypoxia angle that she seems to kind of be sticking with most people. But we've also heard it was FND and various other things, which obviously she said she had, and then she said she hadn't got, and then she went back and said she had again. Kind of the same with her EDS and most of her conditions, actually, to be perfectly honest. And that's what started it for us, of us going, And then I asked her when she'd become paralysed. Now, this was in 2022. This was 2022. Because I checked the message earlier, because I wanted to be able to give you the facts today. So 2022, I messaged her and said to her, when did you become paralysed? So this bullshit she's feeding everyone, that it happened when she was on the phone to Bex, that's bullshit. Didn't happen then. Well, obviously we know it's not happened at all, but it didn't happen then. That's not the story she said originally. So in 2022, she told me it had happened 3 years ago. So according to her, that would be 5 years ago now. Not 2 years ago, like she states now, but 5 years ago. I can prove this. I just need to check with the investigation team if I'm allowed to share it, because it's a message directly between me and her. If I am, then I will share it. If not, then we're just going to have to wait for it to all come out, and then I'll share it. But I do want to share every single bit of evidence I've got. I just need to check every single piece that it's not going to screw up the investigation. Right. She was with her dad at the time, which is when she usually admits most truths. Yep, that's the thing. She does like to tell the truth when she's got a dad with her. Oh, thank you, user. Chris Farmer, I want to ask you a question. Do I know you off of TikTok? And you'll know this. If you know me, you'll know this. Because if I do know you, you have a sister who I went to college with. If you're who I think you are. And your face just... Just saw her live, and she basically lifted herself off the bed and moved her legs again. Doesn't surprise me. No, she's been saying that she's got arthritis for ages in her hands. Hi Nadine. Hi, I survive, now I thrive. She told me she had tumours down her spine. Sylvia. She told you the same as me then. Curls, for me, it was her saying she was very premature at 32 weeks. Wow. So, Hannah, did she tell you it's been since she was born then? That's a new one. I've not heard that one. You don't think I don't think you do. See, Chris, your face looks familiar and it's doing my head in. You've got to remember, I wasn't born in Wales. Right, Angry Grape, he's starting to become a bit suspicious of her, but you're not sure. Well, stick around, listen to us. And then you can make your own mind up. I'm not going to make anyone's mind up for them. I'm just asking you to listen with an open mind, and then you can make your own decision. My thumb's cat creature thing just farted and it stinks. Yeah, Cade can do that. Cade can clear a room. I just recorded her saying she's got no fluids left as there's a stock shortage. Right, so in a heat wave, they wouldn't ensure that everyone who needed fluids has got them. Okay. I just looked on the NHS app and I can't find a tab for diagnoses. Maybe I don't have any. Abs, I don't think that's how it works. I don't know because we don't have the app in Wales, which is hilarious considering we're the ones who created the NHS. She's live now. Of course she's live now. She has to go live when I'm live. She knows that people are going to be here. What made you guys realise a seizure pattern? To be honest with you, I didn't realise until far too late. Far too late. And then it was a case of, like, I did notice that she would have them after she'd had her meds, and I did try and talk to her dad. I did try my freaking hardest to speak to her dad about, because I believed it was her meds causing her seizures. I never believed she had epilepsy. Like, honestly believed that it was the medication that was causing her seizures. Kaz, 3 weeks ago I found out I've got osteoporosis, osteopenia and osteoarthritis covering the majority of my body. I am really sorry about that. I know some people I can sign, some groups on Facebook I can signpost you to if you would like that, just to navigate your new world as it is. Thank you, Becky. No, Angry Grape, she does look ill. She does. I'm not going to deny that she does look ill, but she, considering everything she apparently has, she would look a lot more ill. Hi, Salty Girl. Evening. She must live offshore because she never has supplies, and isn't it just? She never has supplies. Her own private island. Oh yeah, her own private island with a Disney fast pass for the hospital. Well, yeah, Amy, considering the fact that she thinks that boiling water means that it's fine to be put into your tube to use as a flush. 100%. I all got banned tonight and I didn't even do anything. You don't have to do anything. All you need to, Sarah, hi all, I got banned tonight. All you needed to have done is been in one of my lives, or one of Sally's lives, or one of someone else's lives who does lives about her. Right, I'm going to bring up Christy. Christy is one of my mods, so I'm going to bring her up. Singing journaler, I will bring you up, but I want to bring up You Walk, I Roll, Alicia, because we've not heard from her before. So I want to bring her up. I will ask that everyone gives, like, let people talk and try not to talk over other people so each person gets a chance to speak. Alicia, would you like to introduce yourself, darling?
Hello. I do have chronic illnesses and I have a breathing tube in my neck, and she told me on one live to take it out.
What?
Do you have a trachea?
Yes, I do.
I've had one after my comas, so I know what you've been through.
She literally told me to take it out.
You would die.
Yeah, I know I would.
My God, she just...
If you don't get with me, if you don't get another one in within a minute, I'm gonna go into cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
Or get a hypoxic brain injury.
But yeah, have we managed to get anything back of have you managed to talk any more sense into Becky Boo?
No.
No.
She won't respond to me. I've tried texting her.
I really doubt that's ever going to happen.
Because
highly doubt.
we went to school together.
Oh, right, okay. I think she might...
She doesn't talk to me anymore because I tried to talk to her about it.
Yeah, I basically got the same response, and she didn't understand, this is direct from Bex, she didn't understand why I was trying to ruin the only true friendship she'd ever had. And honestly, just that one sentence broke my heart, and I kind of don't want Becky to believe us, because I know how much it's going to break her to know that everything that she's been told is a lie, if you know what I mean.
Can I just address a comment in here?
Yeah, of course you can.
From Ellie Ray Hannah, who's put, Alicia, there's another creator you're often in their lives. They're also faking. They aren't.
I know who you're talking about, and she's definitely not faking.
Right, okay, hang on 2 seconds. Let me see if I can find that comment. Jesus Christ, Oscar. Calm down.
I mean, you can come at me and hate at me for it, but there isn't. They're not faking.
You say, Alicia, there's another creator you're often in their lives, you're also faking. No, she's not faking, so don't even go there.
Right, okay, plus, this live isn't about anyone else faking. This is about Kirsten. I don't know who this other creator is. I mean, I probably would. Chrissy can message me later about it. I probably would know who they are. However...
You do know who it is.
All right, okay. However, it's not, in my opinion, I'm not going to allow discussions about other creators in here, because this isn't about any other creators.
No, it's not. It says in the description of the live.
All right, Nadine, I didn't know that. However, and
I've
Christy
just
can...
for time being.
Okay, Christy can back me up with this. We were told that the reason Kirsten couldn't have hot drinks because she wasn't safe to use a kettle because of her seizures.
Correct.
Yeah, Alicia, if Kirsten ever sent anything like that to you in a message and you still have those messages, because Kirsten doesn't delete her messages that she sends to you because she doesn't have any shame whatsoever. So if you do still have those messages, then you can happily forward those to me or to Sally, and we will get them to the right people, because that's a threat to your life.
She told me on the live, unfortunately, so I do not have any physical evidence. Annoyingly.
He's very savvy.
Otherwise, they would have gone straight to yourself or Sally.
Right, okay. It's still, we could still take a statement from you and have that put in. Right, bear with me 2 seconds. Right, I know that's what people are trying to do, but spreading more misinformation. Right, finding happy. What am I saying that's misinformation? If you want to jump up into the box, you're more than welcome to come and jump up into the box and tell me what I'm saying that's misinformation, and I will clear it. if I say anything, like I said about the boiled water, like I just said to you, I said what I said, someone corrected me, I read it out loud. More than happy to be proved incorrect. The only things that I will stand strong on are things that I experienced myself. For example, the EDS. I will always argue against her with that one, because one, she admitted that she doesn't have EDS, then went back on it, then admitted it again, then went back on it again. And I know full well she doesn't have EDS. Let's just put it that way. And the thing is, what makes me laugh the most about Kirsten is what she's done to Alicia by doing the whole, oh, you can't be ill because you can't prove your conditions. She does to every single person that decides to disagree with her in any way, shape or form. And considering Kirsten is the sort of person that is more than happy to keep her tubes in on her face so that you can see them all the time, to keep a catheter out in full view so you can see it all the time, to keep any other central lines out so you can see them in full view. Come on now, you're telling me that if she could prove that she'd got all these illnesses, she wouldn't. You're telling me she wouldn't do that? Come on now, come on. Really?
I would prove every 2 things for every 1 thing she proved.
Yep. I said exactly the same. I did a video, Alicia. I don't know if you've been on my actual TikTok, but I did a video.
I did see it, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, for every bit of evidence you provide, I'll do exactly the same. I'll even put my name and address on it. I don't care, because I've got nothing to fucking hide, because I have all my conditions. Wish I didn't. Wish I didn't have any of them.
Somebody's requested, apparently.
Okay.
Finding happy.
Finding happy, that's fine. They can come in. Right. Alicia, if you could just mute yourself a second. I want to see I just want to see what Finding Happy says that I'm not that I'm spreading misinformation about.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, it's not you specifically, I'm saying, it's just I'm seeing a lot of these exposures of Nikki at the moment. I'm fully in agreement, something is going on. I am genuinely worried for her mental health. As both a mental health and chronic health sufferer myself, I just watch her and think there is so many issues here, but I worry that there is becoming such a huge following and kind of almost heading towards discrimination against her, that there are, in some of the lives where people are trying to out her, some of the things people are saying isn't quite right and actually could be detrimental to the chronic community as a whole, and to any sort of official investigation that's going on with her. I think we all need to be very careful. I wouldn't want it to damage, the genuine chronic community and the friendships that people have made and things like that. I just really worry that it's starting to go down a track that could be detrimental, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I agree with you completely. It's one of those things, it needs to be done very carefully, and that's why I'm working alongside Sally, and why I do try and keep, like, my lives are slightly different to Sally's. Sally does try her best to keep everything factual based, and obviously she's got experience with tubes and things like that, the same as Mother Noodle has. So they've got different expertise, for want of a better phrase, than I do. Whereas I've had the experience of being her mod, so I can come through it with a completely separate and individualistic approach, and give other people the chance to come and speak their truth about their experiences, either just watching her or being a mod for her, and giving them the chance that, like, because the majority of us, we got pushed out or we left as mods, and then we were either completely abandoned as friends, even though all we'd ever done was help her. And I mean, like, I spent night after night after night awake all night, staying on staying on the live with Kirsten many nights. And the messages I received after I stopped being a mod
was abusive. Yeah, put it that way. Yeah.
And I was told I could have gone to the police. I was told. I mean, I've been told that I can still go for malicious communications. Been through the ringer with her, and all of us were vulnerable. All of us, yes, in a minute, Katie. All of us were vulnerable. All of us had horrible experiences with her. All of us paid the price for helping her, and that's all we ever did.
Yeah, once you've I just want to say, like, maybe I get there is some misinformation going about, and I fully accept that, but she's doing the same as well. She's putting out misinformation, especially about, like, reusing needles, and she's putting out some really harmful advice as well, and it could potentially kill someone. Yeah, I fully accept that misinformation's a part of it, but she's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, I agree with you, Laura. Any medical advice shouldn't be followed unless it's from a licensed doctor or professional. That's completely correct. But what I will say is, as someone with a chronic illness, the majority of my understanding of my illness and understanding of the comorbidities that I've got, and that I only discovered I have because of educating myself through pages on Facebook, because that's predominantly where I got the majority of my information, was pages on Facebook, groups on Facebook, and then obviously now we've got the chats on Facebook, we've got TikTok, there's a couple of other sites that I use that have got like chat rooms that are specific to my condition. I would never have discovered my POTS, I would never have discovered the stuff that's going on with my bells. I would never have discussed that all of that was linked, because I, like many people, I was told, you've got Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, you've got the hypermobility type, but I'm going to send you to a geneticist because you've got traits of the normal type. And then I was sent out the door, and that was it. And I was left to get on with it. And I was sat there thinking, well, what do I do now? And the problem is that it's a blessing and a curse that social media exists, because one, it's great. We can find our community. We can find other people that understand and that can share in our victories and share in our woes, and they understand exactly what we're going through. And for new people getting the diagnosis, we can help those people, signpost them to the right people to talk to, and help them out as much as we can to go through the right channels for advice. There's a lot of people who will stumble across that will predominantly use TikTok, because like when I said to my son he could have a Facebook account, he looked at me as though I just asked if I could shit on his hands and clap. You know what I mean? Because it's apparently not cool to have Facebook these days. It's all about TikTok. And so you've got all these young people discovering their conditions and learning about their conditions through TikTok. And so when you've got someone spreading dangerous misinformation, that needs to be called out on. And I think that you know, it works the same for anyone that's spreading misinformation. It's just the type of misinformation she is sharing.
It's going to potentially kill someone or seriously hurt someone.
Yeah. It's got the potential to unalive someone, and I don't want that to happen, and I couldn't have it on my conscience that happened, and I sat by and did absolutely nothing about it or to prevent it. She lied so much about what's safe to do with a catheter. See, I don't know anything. Oh, sorry. I don't know. I haven't heard anything like that, Ashton. If you want to jump up in the box and talk about it. What we're trying to do tonight is give people a chance to talk that haven't come up and joined us before. Bones has just said she told a girl to take extra Zopiclone to sleep. Never do that. Never take extra medication. Please don't ever take extra medication, because it's really, really dangerous. And unless it's prescribed to you, don't do it. Please, please don't ever do that. It's so dangerous. And yet you do have to do your own research, because the NHS, you are just left to your own devices. You are completely just left. Georgina, I worry for her current mods. We don't know what she tells them to do behind the scenes. I can tell you exactly the sort of stuff she tells them to do behind the scenes. And yet half the time Google's educated me more than doctors in terms of EDS. I still remember when I went to the hospital because I dislocated a rib, which at that time I didn't even know was possible. But I dislocated my rib, went to the hospital because I'd had a coughing fit, and I stupidly held my chest in, which is a very bad idea with EDS. Don't do that. If you're having a coughing fit, let your chest go out as much as it needs to. I went to the hospital and I had this jumped up doctor look me up and down and go, you can't dislocate a rib. And I lifted my top, and I was very skinny at the time, and my rib was quite clearly pushing against my skin, and you could see it jutting out. Like, thankfully hadn't broken the skin, but you could see it was definitely not where it was supposed to be. And I said, well, what's that then? And his skin went like this whitey grey colour, and he went, oh, I'll be back. And the nurse that was stood right there started howling with laughter, and she was like, let's get you some of the morphine medication. And I was like, oh, thank you. And she went, my son's got EDS, so I know exactly how you feel. And I was like, thank you so much. And then I had a new doctor come over, and he was wonderful and explained that they can't relocate ribs because they can puncture your lung. So I just have to suck it up. And so I've now got one rib that it, because it snapped when I dislocated it, and it's started to go back in place, but it's fused, so it still juts out. And now my rib on my right hand side slips in and out now, which is so much fun. So much fun. It doesn't hurt at all. It does. It hurts a lot. Sorry, I'm just going through and just checking top of misinformation. She is 25, Becky. Her name is Kirsten Cunningham. She has so many different accounts, it's unreal. You haven't heard her talking about a Cath. Why the service is not doing anything. Right, okay, so as far as the service is not doing anything, she, her family have connections to the police. So unfortunately, if you try and go the police route, it goes through someone who knows her, and so they just go, oh, there isn't a case, I'm not going to do anything. Eleanor, yes, you can come up, darling. I'll let you up. I'll let some more guests up in a minute. Other services are trying to do something. We are working very closely with them. They just need to dot all their I's and cross all their T's and make sure they've got every single bit of information they can, including witness testimony and things like that. So if you're willing to have your story included into it, if you've got any evidence that can back up anything that you've got to say, that is all wonderful, and that can all be included into it, and that will all help us greatly. Oh my God. Harriet Rush, she told me to sit on a dislocated thumb so it will go back into place. Don't do that. I mean, I'm guessing you didn't do that, but don't ever try and put a joint back into place by sitting on it. That is the most dangerous thing you can do, especially with a thumb. Your thumb has got so many nerves at the base of it. If you relocate your thumb in the incorrect way, you can trap your nerves and you can cut off circulation to that part of your hand, which is why most people who have dislocations with their thumb, recurrent dislocations, will end up with carpal tunnel syndrome, because my thumb pops out all the time and I trap my carpal nerve constantly, and so I end up with numbness in my thumb and my two forefingers. If you need help on and advice on how to relocate joints, I am going to start doing videos on relocating joints, including how to relocate your throat. Yeah, the goal is to get her, it's not just to get her off this app, it's to get her IP address banned, because then she cannot go live on Instagram or on Facebook. Right, Eleanor, I'm going to let you come up, and then everyone else, I am going to accept you into the boxes, but if you could mute yourself so that we could let Eleanor talk, I would be very, very grateful.
Hi,
Eleanor. Hi, darling. Long time no speak.
How are you, lovely?
And I'm okay. Messed up my meds and didn't take them for a week, so...
Oh, that's not good, lovely. Not good at all.
Well, in fairness, they've changed them from being bright blue to being white. So I don't notice that they're not in my box, because there's just tons of white tablets in there, so I haven't noticed that they've not been in my box. And then I realised yesterday, because I woke up Saturday having a panic attack. No, I woke up Sunday, sorry, having an anxiety attack. I woke up Sunday morning having an anxiety attack, and I was like, why am I feeling like this? What's going on? And then I came downstairs, checked all my meds, and I was like, I haven't been taking my Amy. Oh my God. And so I started taking it again last night, and hopefully I'll stop feeling so crap soon.
Yeah, I was on Kirsten's lives quite a lot. And
Yeah, you were.
basically, she called me a liar on live, saying that my friend who died over a year ago with problems with her stomach, gastroparesis,
Yeah.
basically called me a liar, saying that she didn't have it, she didn't have a tube, and she wasn't hospitalised, more than 3 times. And I said, well, Kirsten, she was hospitalised because she put it over TikTok, and she put herself making people aware of the illness and making people aware how bad she'd gone. She'd gone down to, less than 6 stone, and she had a 3-year-old to look after.
No.
And she lost her life at the age of 20 because of her illnesses.
Bless her, that's awful.
And Kirsten called me a blatant liar, saying that she didn't have gastroparesis and she wasn't being hospitalised for it. It took her over a year and a half to find out that she had gastroparesis. She was losing weight. She was being sick. She wasn't keeping nothing down. She wasn't keeping fluids down. She wasn't keeping anything down. And it took them over a year or more to find out that she had gastroparesis.
I think the problem with, the major problem with gastroparesis is the fact that there's so many. No, seashells. You can go. You can go next. Yes, seashells. You can go next. The problem with gastroparesis is the fact that it's so difficult, and especially with women, that they like to just go, you've obviously got an ED. That's obviously what's going on with you. So you're choosing to do this. That's it. There's no further information than that, because they like to go for the easiest answer possible and then go on with that. And it's just like, no, that's not the case. And if you just spend a week with a patient and have them as an inpatient for a week, you'll see them. Try and eat. Try and take food in, and then what happens is they throw it up because the body can't tolerate it, and then surprise, surprise, they'd finally work out, oh, actually, we need to do further testing, and then they'd see it. Because from what I've learned about gastroparesis is it's very easy to diagnose once they actually bother to look for it.
Yeah, well, when she first started all of it, and it all started off, they first diagnosed her with anorexia nervosa.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
And then she carried on going to the doctors, hounding the hospital. And she kept on at them and said to them, right, I can't carry on the way I'm going. I'm ill all the time. I'm up, back and forth to the doctors, back and forth to hospital. And I've got a 3-year-old to think of.
No.
And, she was losing out on seeing a 3-year-old do so much because she was in and out of hospital all the time and couldn't go anywhere because she was stuck in her own flat because she just couldn't move because she was so ill and so poorly. And it was horrible to see the state she went into and how bad she went. And then she went in to have her tube put in through her stomach because it was going down through her nose.
Yeah.
But the battle they had as well, because she had a heart condition and she was diabetic. The hospital down with me, they put the tube in twice and it didn't work, so she got moved to the one in Carmarthen. They did it correctly, and then when she come home, she gained weight, she was putting everything back on, she was happy, she was going out, she got her diabetes under control again. And then I only found out, less than a week after she'd passed away. She turned 20 on the Saturday, and she passed away on the Monday, that they'd actually stopped medication for a heart problem.
For God's sake.
And that's what actually killed her. She went to bed because she wasn't feeling very well. She'd been staying with her parents and her sister over the weekend of her birthday, so her mum and dad could have her little boy while she went out for her birthday. And basically, yeah, she basically had heart failure and it killed her in her sleep. It was good job. It was good job she was at her mum and dad's.
Wow,
Otherwise,
that's
her
horrible.
3-year-old little boy would have found her.
I'm sorry for your loss, and I'm sorry for his loss as well. I can't imagine.
It's been May this year, come up to a year. Her little boy is doing amazing. He's just turned 5. He's loving school. He's living with her parents and her sister, and they're doing a fantastic job. I went over there the other week for his birthday. I gave him his card. He remembers who I am totally, because we had a little joke, and he calls me his little chicken nugget, and it's a joke that we've always had since he was little, and I've known him since before he turned 1, and that's what we're trying, or that's what everybody's trying to do. Her friends, her family, everybody's trying to keep her memory alive for her little boy and for her sister. And I'm not being nasty, mental health plays a big part on everybody's life. It's not just people with chronic illnesses, it's everyone. I've got mental health problems, and yeah, it's hit me like a ton of bricks losing her, because she was a big support in my life. I was a big support of her life. I miss her daily because I can see her flat from my living room window. I miss seeing her walking her little boy back and forward to school every day. It's horrible, but at the end of the day, I've got to keep her memory alive, and seeing Kirsten do a lot of things on her live, and the way she treats some of the mods was disgusting. And the way she spoke to some people on there was horrible, and some things she said to some people, and the way she told people what they can take and what they can't take, and all this. And it's like, well, I ended up stopping watching her lives because of the way she was treating some people and the way she was speaking to you mods.
Yeah, we did try and get people out, but well, we all know how manipulative she is, and the problem is
narcissist.
Yeah, the problem is when she manipulates the way that she does, it makes it very easy for followers to believe what she says as opposed to what a single mod said, because it's easy to say, oh, well, she just doesn't like me because I removed her as a mod, and she's got nothing wrong with her, she's just mentally ill, which is what she said, word for word, what she said about me. And so, you know, who are you going to believe? The person you've been following for a year and a half, or one of her mods? You're going to believe her. It's easier to believe her. But, I mean, Sally shared a pie chart, and it was really interesting, actually, and I'll have to get a copy of it off her and like try and have it green screen in the background of me, because it was about 2 seconds. Oscar! No! Sorry, it's my cat. One of my cats. It was about abusive relationships, because that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Shanice, if you want to jump up and share your story.
Right, Emily, thank you very much for letting me join you live.
You're welcome, darling. You're welcome to stay.
And it's nice to speak to you.
You too.
Emily, let me know when I can sort of...
I will let you go, and I will speak to you soon, all right? I'll stay
All right,
on
then.
live, but I'll speak to you soon, hon, okay?
Speak to you soon, darling.
All right, guys. Take care, everybody.
Take care. Thank you for joining.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Seashells.
Hi. I just wanted to say that what you were saying to that response about her, like the exposure lives, what that person was saying, that it's gone the other way. I do not believe that. People have to, like you say, turn to the internet. I've got several severe mental health conditions and chronic illnesses. And just to give an example, when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, the doctor just told me to do some yoga and sent me home. That was it.
Because that's the fix-all. That's going to fix you. That's going to fix the chronic pain that you're in. Do a bit of yoga. Shove some kale up your butt. Take some bloody herbal remedies, and you'll be fine.
Because I'm like, obviously, I'm in constant chronic pain everywhere, and fibromyalgia is an awful condition to live with. As is all chronic illnesses. I've got other ones as well, but I was just giving an example. So people do have to turn to the internet. I know, for one, I'm on some Facebook groups, stuff like that for my chronic conditions and mental health things, because the NHS is not fit for purpose. And her giving this misinformation will kill somebody.
Yeah.
And I stand by that. I stand by the fact that it's going to kill somebody. What she said about CPR really got me, because I think I've said before, but I lost my mum when I was 13. She had chronic heart disease. Nobody knew about it. She was a healthy woman. She was 47. No signs. She lost weight. She was doing everything right. And overnight, my stepdad found her dead. But misinformation about CPR and stuff is going to kill somebody. It is going to kill somebody. And if we don't get her off of this app, that's the reality. That's the reality everyone's living with, because we know the truth. Do you know what I mean?
And not just this app, every app.
Yeah, 100%. Like Emily was saying, there needs to be a ban on her IP address.
Because that's the only way you're going to solve it. So many different things now that it's just what we need is a full IP ban, because that means she can't just keep on creating new accounts, which is what she's currently doing, because her chronic KiKi account was banned. So
Emily, I've got some news for that today for you that I've passed on to a couple of other users. I'll pass it on to you as well when I give you that news.
Perfect.
But
she's just going to keep on doing new accounts, and this is the problem.
She won't with the news I've got you. Trust me, with the news I've got, she won't. I've had an interesting conversation.
I think what it comes down to is she does need to be sectioned. She needs to be an inpatient. They need to have her under control, have a full psych evaluation. Like you say, she's got fictitious disorder, which I believe used to be called Munchausen's.
Yeah.
Which it sounds debilitating in itself, but it's not an excuse for the way she's treating people. And mental health conditions are an explanation of what you're going through. They're never an excuse for the way you treat people, especially if you're abusing them, etc., etc. It's not okay. I think personally, her dad is enabling her behaviour, and
100%.
So I used to watch her lives quite a lot, but I used to get banned a lot, so I used to go on fake accounts. But I've never seen her mum there, so I wonder if her mum knows more to the story, or if there's something going on there, or I don't know the story with that. But it's always her dad that turns up.
Well, her mum has been around occasionally. Her mum is very she doesn't play the game at all, so she will literally walk in and go, "Oh, you're not feeling well again," and then she just turns the live off, and then Kirsten obviously gets a telling off, because it takes her a lot longer to come back on after a mum's been than it does after a dad's been. But her father is complicit. We have evidence that has been sent on to the people that it needed to be sent on to, that he's been complicit in conning people for money. And so we know for a fact that that's been happening, and we know that her dad is involved in convincing people of her lies as well. 100%.
This is all, honestly, the stories I've heard are awful. The amount of money people have lost, it is horrific, and it's not just Like she picks her audience, she picks the people that she wants to affect, and she picks the most vulnerable in society, and it's sick. It's actually sick. She needs to get taken to court for this. They need to do a court order to pay back the money, etc., etc., because this has affected so many people's lives.
Yeah, and this is the thing, because like this is why what we're actually doing at the moment, just to get you all up to speed with some of it. Obviously, I can't give you full details. I can't give you case numbers and things like that. If you want to privately message me with any information that you've got, and if you want to be included in the investigation, and if you've got any evidence, then I can provide that evidence. Then I can provide you those things. But what we're doing is what's called a multi-agency task force, which means social services, the police. We've gone above Norfolk Police's head, the police, and what's the other one? Health and social care, and there's a fourth one, but I can't think of what it is. It's to do with it's to do with hospitals. They're all involved in it together, and we're all providing our evidence. And what they want is for anyone who's been affected by her at all, because they've been made aware of the fact that it's not just the financial stuff, because yes, the financial stuff is awful. The amount of money she's had off people is awful. I personally can forget about the financial stuff. I can put that to one side and go, oh, it's money I've lost, it's gone, I don't care. What I do care about is the detrimental effect that she had on me and everyone else, mentally and physically. And this is the thing. And safeguarding, that's who else is involved. Safeguarding's involved as well, because something needs to be done, because she is affecting the mental and physical well-being of everyone that comes across her path, everyone. And it's so dangerous. And like I can share this with you, with all of you, because this is what's classed as common knowledge now, because it has been shared all over TikTok. People have hurt themselves because of her.
And I honestly believe you, and I believe there's more as well that we don't know. Do you know what I mean about it? I wouldn't be shocked if someone has unfortunately passed away because of the information she's been giving, but they've fallen through the cracks.
Yeah. It's very scary what she does. It's very scary the advice she gives out, and it's.
I suppose the problem we have, Emily, is to a certain extent she's not actually committing a crime yet.
Yeah.
I do need to go and sort my meds out and stuff.
All right then, Seashells. Well, take care. You're welcome to come back. I'll be online for quite a while. I normally am. I'm not going to be on as late as I normally am, because I am in a lot of pain and I want to take my strong meds tonight. But I will be on for quite a while, and you can message me whenever you want.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Take care, darling.
So I suppose if she commits a crime, it could be reported, couldn't it?
Yeah. Technically, it's not theft. The thing is, it's not theft by deception, technically speaking, because she has the fictitious disorder, so it's not classified as being deception by fraud by deception. Unfortunately for her dad, however, he can be done for fraud by deception. He can be done. Hi, Ishmael. So because he can be done, then then that means that we're that part of it's technically covered. But what she can be done for is the malicious communications. So anything that she has said, yeah, it is still a crime. It's just one that CPS won't prosecute. What can be done is all the malicious communications. So like with a previous speaker who said about being told to remove their track, that is malicious communications. And because that's a threat to life, essentially. So, I
didn't know she had fictitiously taken money from people.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Basically, any time that she says, I'm desperate for glucose, I need glucose, and people are sending her glucose, that's classed as fraud by deception. But purely because of the fact that she's telling people a lie to get money off them for something that she doesn't need.
I mean, the fact that there's even a question over the fact that she's paralysed turns my stomach, Emily. When there's people out there genuinely paralysed.
Yeah. Katie, what news is it you've got for us?
I'll have to tell you privately something because because it is kind of, it can be taken further once I've told you and a few other people. Someone's already knowing, like, and passed someone, but obviously I'll let you know.
Yeah, please do.
There has been some news, unfortunately. Someone has linked to Kirsten. Someone has unfortunately passed away in the last couple of days.
Right.
Because of a direct result of her. It's come about. It got removed it got removed straight away because of the nature behind it, unfortunately. So there has already had that come out. Whether it's going to go further and they're going to publicly announce it, we don't know yet because of the other things that are going on in the background. Yeah. It will just be added to the case. Today, though, I love the fact she's got another supposed line in her chest again.
Oh, my God. Of course she has. Of course she has.
But the thing is as a person who has a central line myself and knows how, you know, considering her femoral line is meant to be all singing, all dancing and everything, the supposed blue gloves she puts on are definitely not sterile. And even if they were, she's touching everything with them, so they're definitely not sterile. She's not even using non-touch aseptic technique, which is a valid technique to use with the central line, with a femoral line. So, but what made me laugh is on the live earlier, said thing in her chest came out and she tucked it back down again.
Oh my God!
And it was beggars belief, and she went and put. But the thing is she put medication through it just now. That's why I popped off quickly because I had a message saying she was live and doing IV meds. And as soon as she had it, her eyes kind of went all funny again. I'm like, yeah, here we go again, kind of thing. But I was on Mother Noodles live the other day when she had supposed medical episode, and the only way her mods were not doing anything at all. They point blank refused, and time was getting on, like it was getting on and on and on, and it was kind of getting to the point where if it was a real medical event, it was past the time of someone needing to get her help. Yeah. The only way help actually got to her was because John was actually on Mother Noodles live.
Yeah. And she's got him blocked at the minute, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has had to block him since, but he was actually on the live. And he
Kirsten blocks him. Kirsten had her own dad blocked.
Yeah, no, we know that as well, and there was a reason behind that because there was something else that had happened, and she didn't want anyone knowing what had happened, but she let it slip on one of the other lives, which was quite funny. But yeah, basically it was down to Mother Noodle having someone basically putting Kirsten's live on her live that got John to go and help her. Yeah. But it was the fact that he just wasn't bothered about the fact that his daughter was supposedly unconscious. It was like, oh, hello everyone on the live kind of thing, and having like a discussion with us before he even went to attend her. Well, I'm sorry, if my daughter was unconscious, do you know what? Screw everyone else. Yes, I'll take off the live, but that wouldn't even necessarily be the first thing I'll do. The first thing I'll do is kind of make sure she was like breathing and okay, and then I'll kind of worried about the live. Do you know what I mean? But it just goes to show that.
Can you have a safe pick line at home?
So I've got a central line at home. You can have picks, pulps, you can have central line, Tickmans, you can have all that at home, yes, but you have to be trained, and it's very specific training. I've had my central line over 2 years now, and within the last probably April, I've been fully kind of released to do it all myself, take bloods, do everything all. But even now, it's like my baby, my pult, because of how easy it is to get an infection in the line. I'm so protective over it. It is unreal because it is that like the safety. I had a nurse who said she was fully trained in central lines, not last weekend, the weekend before, in A&E, so that she wanted to. I even had the IV team at the hospital come and speak to me about my pult. And because I didn't believe they were competent enough, I let them nowhere near it because of how dangerous it is. The way she's accessing it and even cleaning it and even pushing the medications through is not correct protocol. And the information she's given out to people to do that is wrong. And I know different areas have different rules and regulations and this, but working in a hospital and working for the ambulance service myself, and having done procedures and having followed strict guidelines on sterile procedure and everything, central lines, even a femoral line that she supposedly has from Germany, you would not be able to access it in that manner. And femoral lines, you only legally really allowed in hospital. If you have it at home, the legality around a femoral line, you have to have a community nurse access it.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought it needed to be.
My IV nurse, even now, will still come out to me to monitor to every couple of cycles, will still come out and watch me access my pool to make sure I'm following everything, because it's that strict. Do you know what I mean? With it, she's not had a single person come out and check her line, do it all. The UK would not source a specialist femoral line from Germany. I can 100% guarantee that, because I've had friends with multiple medical conditions that have literally been to the point of near enough passing away due to nothing in their system at all, because they've been so malnourished, waiting for parts to be sourced from other countries to the NHS. Yes, it's in different areas, but the overall NHS Health Authority have said they are not sourcing equipment individually for patients from across other countries because it's not cost effective. They do it in bulk, but they won't individually do it. I can guarantee this femoral line that she's got from Germany is a non-exister. Do you know what I mean? Considering she had 3 lines on the bed just sat there the other day, she hid it from the camera very quickly when she realised the camera was pointing at them. It was all just extensions. They call them octopus extensions. They're basically just extra lumens that get added onto like cannulas. You can easily get them. They're purchased off the internet, and they're just basically like danglers that give you extra things. That's all she's technically got.
Yeah.
And you can have a bag. Emily, I've really also noticed her surroundings are never quite clinical, are they?
No, never.
It is kind of chaos around here. You're supposed to have a clinical, a sterile environment.
Don't get me wrong. I accessed my central line with my sterile kit on my pillow on my sofa because I couldn't move because I was so unwell when I done it with an ambulance crew in April. But I made that area, I would wash my hands, and I made that kind of little pillow area as clean and sterile as I could. Do you know what I mean? Everything that was going into my central line was on a sterile, like, drape, if you want to call it that. It came out the sterile pack that you open up kind of thing. But I physically couldn't move to go to a table, to go to anywhere to kind of do what I normally do. But I still had the help of the ambulance crew, do you know what I mean? But it was just them blue gloves. She was just saying just a minute ago, she has a latex allergy, so she has to have a specialist aluminium coated this, that, and copper like catheter. Oh my God. And I was like, really? For someone who's had major urology problems and is under a professor in London who's been doing urology for what seems like hundreds of years. I know that's not, but he knows everything. He's amazing, and he specialises with EDS and really complex urology problems. He's amazing. She's gone from having a normal catheter to a suprapubic catheter to needing apparently bladder removal, but now can't have bladder removal on this one live in just like the space of 10 minutes that I watched, because she's too complex. But then the suprapubic catheter, she can now fully change and get done. I'm sorry, my friend who actually got Fowler's syndrome put on the medical dictionary, she was one of the first people that went for the clinical testing to diagnose what was actually now founded as Fowler's syndrome. She was in the 10 people that were clinically like clinical founders for it. She's had multiple suprapubic catheters, and every time it has to be changed, she has to go in and have it changed in hospital. She can't just do it there and there in her living room or in her bedroom. So how is Kirsten doing it in her bedroom?
Right, I just want to address this quickly because there's lots of comments in the comment section about this. Right, as far as who it is that's passed away, I don't know. Katie is going to pass on that information to me, but obviously out of respect for that person's family, I'm not going to share that information.
The name can't be released at the moment because there's an ongoing investigation. That's why it got removed off social media straight away.
What I will say is if any of you are concerned about anyone that you know that's still involved with her, reach out to them. Get in contact with them in whatever way you need to and speak to them, and then hopefully that will ease your mind.
This is all I can say is it's more so than ever now, like we did over COVID, checking in on people more so than now than ever, with everything heightening up a lot more. Just every once in a while, just make sure your friend, your family, everyone are just okay. Even if you just drop them a message going, "Hi, how are you?" Do you know what I mean? Everyone just make sure you, especially because life is so precious, just reach out to everyone.
May I ask something?
Are you asking me or are you asking Katie, darling?
I'm kind of asking Katie, but it's not about who it is. I'm asking because the kind of awareness you might need to be raising, was this as a direct result of something that Kirsten told the person to do, or was this as a direct result of her misguided medical knowledge?
It's a bit of both. It's something she said, actions she's done, and unfortunately something led to it, one thing led to another. She's basically, it's in a direct yet indirect cause from her, basically.
Sure. I just wanted to, say
unfortunately, it's
you guys might want to ramp up the awareness over the next
so
few
everyone,
days.
please just check on friends, anyone that may know her. Just reach out and just go, "Hi, how are you?" A simple message on "How are you" can make all the difference when someone's feeling really low and really vulnerable. Yeah, because it means that they're cared for.
Emily, do we think she's genuinely paralysed?
No, she's definitely not.
Definitely.
I mean, said they've seen her walking around hospital wards and stuff. She's not.
Yeah. It doesn't get any worse than that, does it, Emily? Really?
No.
I think in the end of the world, if she believes she is, then we've got to go with it to some degree. She's obviously got. Unfortunately, when you get that deep into it, you believe anything and everything, and it's unfortunate. Do you know what I mean? I went to a patient that she thought she thought she was pregnant, and she even had a bump to go with it. She thought she was having contractions. It was a phantom pregnancy, they call it, but she was so into it. And when people get really into things, it's unfortunate how far it goes. But there has been documentation and videos of her even on this app moving and doing stuff. And she may have weakness. If she has got problems nutritionally, she may have muscular weakness, she may have problems, so that that's inevitable. I eat and drink a bit, but I do have I've got gastroparesis and my intake isn't great, so I have got muscular weakness. But so she could have that, but no, she can do more than she's letting on.
Some people have actually caught her out while she's been on live. She's forgot the cameras on and she stands up.
Yeah. This is the thing. The thing with the paralysis is you can have partial paralysis. You can have paralysis as it's like I'm blind in my right eye. Now it's classed as me being blind in my right eye, even though technically speaking I'm not blind in that eye. I do have slight vision, but because it's under 10%, it's classed as me being blind in that eye. So if I was to lose my left eye, I wouldn't be able to see anything at all, because I can kind of see colour and I can kind of see shapes, but that's about it. I couldn't read anything. I wouldn't be able to move around the house with just that eye. I wouldn't be able to do anything for myself with just that eye. So paralysis is a very broad spectrum, and there are people that, exactly, Cherry Panda. She has claimed full paralysis from the waist down, and this is why so many of us are angry about her claims, because there are people that I'm sure every single person in here knows someone who's in a wheelchair and who is literally wheelchair bound, because you can have ambulatory wheelchair users. It's been advised / suggested to me that I get a wheelchair because I would have more freedom.
Emily, is it true she had a GoFundMe for her current wheelchair?
Yes, she's had 2.
Yeah, so that's what annoys me. There's people out there that are crying out for mobility aids.
Yeah.
I've been told that I need crutches or to prevent further aids needed, but because of my wrist injuries, I can't hold a normal crutch. The crutches I've been advised to get are like £300, £400. There's no way I can afford that. Do you know what I mean? I can just about put food on the table for my daughter, and so I can't do that. But I'm also, everyone's struggling financially, and I feel it's not fair or right for me to kind of not beg for money to some degree, but put it out there for like GoFundMe. I know people would, and people are kind and stuff like that, but at the same time there is people that need it more. But for her to kind of openly have it and then complain that it's still not accessible for her and still not suitable for her, I'm kind of like, I'm sorry, but be grateful that you've got something. Be grateful that if you are paralysed, that you've got you've got a mobility aid that you can get around with. It may not be 100%, but just be grateful you've got something. Something
that's like nothing. Receiving money of false pretences, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's such a shame that
is all receiving money under false pretences.
She was begging for money on the live the other day, and someone only had 31p, so they sent her 31p, and they were making jokes out of it. And then someone sent her 19p because that's all they had, and then someone sent her £1, and they were joking. Oh, that comes up to this total, and then there was someone, oh, I'll send you 50p because that's all I have. And they were literally taking the piss, mind my language, out of people for just sending little bits here and there. But that's literally, they were saying, this is all I've got, this is all I've got. But Kirsten was begging. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but if that's all they've got and you really were desperate for money, you'll be grateful for even 30p. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, the other day I was skimping and scraping just to manage to get 75p for some bread down at Morrison's, because that's, you know, I really needed some bread. And I literally had to rampage everything around the house, do you know what I mean? And it was like, but I'm sorry, you're literally complaining and laughing at people because they've given you money. And then someone came on her live and went, oh, I've just literally got you 5 things off your Amazon wish list, hope you like it. And she went, you didn't need to do that, but thank you. But you can, but what did you get? She actually openly asked them what they got. And then she went and said, oh, I needed this, this and this. And I'm like, sorry, what?
Also, if she's paralysed, as she says, from the waist down, and I know this because my mum had a stroke, and she's not paralysed on both sides, but she is paralysed on one side, and she gets her wheelchair from the government and stuff. But they do actually provide things for people in that sort of situation, and she gets her wheelchair. Well, I mean, granted, it's not a great service. She's waiting for an upgrade because it's fallen to pieces. But she does, you know, they do things.
Can I just jump in there about the wheelchair? So I'm actually in the same area as Kirsten, and I will say wheelchair services are absolutely terrible here. Yeah, they have refused wheelchairs to some friends that I've got with Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
Oh my god.
So that's how bad they are where I am.
Yeah, but she got one from wheelchair services and she complained because it wasn't suitable for her. But the reason it wasn't suitable for her was because it was a standard chair, and she didn't want a standard chair. She wanted an upgraded version because and I'm like, because of apparently it was because of her age. That's what she said on one live. I didn't like the wheelchair services one because of my age, because it was a bulk standard one. I'm sorry, but if you generally really need one, you go with the flow for now. You'd do what you can.
With anything.
Yeah. I mean, I've got an NHS crutch. It is what it is. I have put bandages around it, socks around it, you name it. So it's the angle of the crutch that I can't use.
I did have to push.
Hang on. Right. Taylor, Singing, and Katie, can you mute yourself a second to give Anna a chance to speak, please?
So I did really have to push wheelchair services to get a suitable chair for me, because the other chairs, they weren't usable, and it was a waste of money them giving them to me, really. So I did really have to push for a suitable chair from them, due to my needs, really, just because I've got a lot of joint damage now from trying to use the manual that they gave me. So actually the chair they gave me caused more damage. But something else I wanted to bring up as well is the fact that Kirsten has got underage mods. She's also got mods who have got learning difficulties and are very, very vulnerable. And to me, that screams someone who is grooming people.
Yeah.
And who is being very manipulative. And so with her manipulation, it then draws me into question as to whether she actually does believe this stuff, or whether she's actually aware that she is lying, but she is doing this, for that control of people. Yeah. Because I have family members who have lied about stuff for the same reason, to get that pity, and to get that control over people. And so that is what really, really concerns me, because I'm not being funny, she's 25. She should not be messaging underage people unless they are family members.
I completely agree.
I'm a year older than her, and I would never dream of doing that. And in fact, I would lose my job if I did that, quite frankly. Because it is grooming, it is completely inappropriate. And especially to ask someone who is under the age of 18 to stay up all night with her and to be responsible for her well-being.
Yeah.
That is just disgraceful. It is absolutely disgraceful. And really, if she was this ill, she would get that care from social services and she would get that care from the NHS. You know, I don't have seizures. I don't need monitoring 24/7. And I have been offered 20 hours of care a week from social services, and I'm in the same county as Kirsten.
Can I just say, her dad has openly said on a live that they can afford full-time carers for Kirsten and a sleeper carer. He said that on a live, and he got told to shut up. Dad, I'm okay with the carers I've got because her carers are now being increased by the council apparently, so she can be assessed every single day to go out.
Yeah, but the thing is as well is that if she actually needed this support 24 hours, she would get it, because she would be able to apply for NHS continuing care, which I've got quite a few friends who get NHS continuing care, and that is where your care is paid for by the NHS, and you have 24/7 carers.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've got multiple friends in Norfolk who have that due to their needs. And it's just, you know, it just makes no sense. None of it makes any sense, especially from me as someone who is a professional. So I do work for the council. And I am also, you know, a recipient of care from the council. And so I know what the council is capable of and what they're not capable of. Granted, they are making changes to care yet again at the moment, but that's another situation. But she would be getting all of this care from the council, and she would have way more support if she was having these seizures and she needed CPR regularly and needed the air ambulance out because of a chronic illness.
Exactly.
So all of that, it's just completely inappropriate to be asking, you know, people who have got learning difficulties to be that carer for you, when you are capable of contacting social services and saying, look, I actually need more support here.
Yeah.
CPR, if you've had CPR, you crack ribs in CPR. I'm sorry, there's no ifs or buts about it. You definitely crack ribs, and it's a disturbing noise, but you do, and that's why you have to take any patient to A&E after CPR has been commenced to have an X-ray to make sure it hasn't punctured any lungs, done any damage to the lungs or the heart or anything, because the risk is huge of doing that, unfortunately. And for her to stay home apparently or be in and out within as quick a time as she has been, that is not physically possible. There is no way someone within CPR who's had CPR is in and out of the hospital within a couple of hours, because they wouldn't even be allowed to self-discharge without a care plan being put in place for full monitoring for at least 48 hours, because the risk of a pneumothorax, which is like a collapsed lung, or hemopneumothorax, which is bleeding area in the lung, do you know what I mean, is huge. Even up to 48, 72 hours post CPR, do you know what I mean, is huge. And even a secondary arrest is still apparent, do you know what I mean? So it's not even that you know. And the fact that she's breathing and able to take a full breath in is, you can tell she hasn't had that, because I've actually gone and seen a person who I managed to bring back, and they couldn't even take a proper breath in because how much it hurt the chest. It's kind of, when your chest is so restricted that you can't take that breath in, that kind of action. It's that principle, because you've got cracked ribs, do you know what I mean? And every bit of you're in agony, every bit of movement you can't, is. That's why patients stay in hospital when they've got broken ribs, because they're on such strong pain meds, and you see sporting people with broken ribs on strong pain meds and they can't do stuff, but yet she's moving around and doing stuff as if nothing's happened. It's like, can no one see this?
Right, I just want to, Hayley and Ashton have both got to go in a minute, so I'm going to let Hayley speak first, and then Ashton, you can say what you need to say, okay?
I'm going to jump off, Emily. I'm going to go off to bed now, but thank you for letting
You're welcome, darling.
join, lovely.
You're welcome. Sleep well, sweetheart.
You're all, remember, you're all warriors, and I haven't got any gastro problems myself, but love and light to you all, because I think you're amazing, and how you handle
too, darling.
Take care, bye.
Take care. Hayley, shoot, go.
Hey, sorry, I didn't want to, disrupt anybody from talking.
No, I understand that.
I just wanted to, because obviously I am paralyzed from the waist down. I have the oh my God, I can't speak today, to prove it. And, I just wanted to speak on the fact that I'm in Canada and wheelchair services is just as shit as it is over there. I have been paralyzed for going on 3 years, completely paralyzed from the waist down. And I have just now been got into getting fitted for a custom chair because of just how long the wait is over here as well, because there's so many people right now in need of wheelchairs and stuff like that. And the reason they got me in so quickly, I've just started PT up again after very long time not doing it because of my health issues. I wasn't stable enough to be doing PT until recently. But I just honestly, I just don't understand. I've sat there days on end and bawled my eyes out not being able to walk and losing the life that I had before.
Yeah.
And just missing being able to go out and do things. I was a gymnast before I became paralyzed. And so obviously with the paralysis, I went from being quite muscular to having what my mother likes to call chicken legs, from the muscle wastage. And, it's gotten so bad that the bones in my calf stick out because of just the amount of muscle wastage I've had from being wheelchair bound. But as well as just, hearing about everything with this person sadly losing their life, and dealing with, gastroparesis, and it just absolutely made me feel sick to my stomach, because I know from personal experience just how hard the struggle is to get diagnosed with gastroparesis, and it's absolutely awful. I fought for about 2 years. I struggled with an ED before my gastro issues started, and they do believe that that had some role to play in my gastroparesis. I fought for years and years and years to get a diagnosis, and being pushed off as, just having another ED, or just being, a teenage girl with anxiety and stuff like that. And all of those excuses, when it's really one test that can prove, that you've been right this entire time. And I told you, I've told them, there's something going on. There's, this is not just my mental health. I'm not struggling with an ED again. I would tell you guys if I was, and I'm telling you that something physical is going on. And sadly, it wasn't until I went into hospital and they found out that I was in organ failure, basically because of the malnutrition. My body had basically started eating my heart. And they had told me straight on, there's going to be, lifelong damage to your organs from the malnutrition, especially my heart, since I do have a heart condition. And so they couldn't tell me, what it was going to look like. But it wasn't until I was, stable enough to get the test done where they found out that I do, in fact, have gastroparesis. And I just so badly wanted to go to all of my old doctors and be like, I told you so. I told you that there was something going on. I told you, you know, like, it was just, and I saw one of the videos from, I think it was Alex's account, of her saying that diagnoses aren't a privilege, and it absolutely is a privilege.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Because the amount of people who have to almost unalive because doctors don't believe them, and, you know, like, it's just, and it makes me emotional just thinking about it, because knowing my struggles and the struggles that I continue to have, and to, you know, have Kirsten tell me that I can't have gastroparesis because I have an NG tube, and, you know, nobody with gastroparesis can have an NG tube. And since then, the amount of comments that I have gotten from people saying that I can't have gastroparesis because I have an NG tube, and nobody with gastroparesis can tolerate feeds in their stomach, and it's just trying to, you know, it's basically like she's damaging the whole community.
Yeah, she is 100%, and she has to be the illest. She has to be the worst person with the condition, suffering the worst. Even
exactly.
Though, I mean, I don't like to say, I mean, I had an ED myself for many, many years, and it's one of those things, it's complicated to explain to people who've never had an ED, that you never get rid of an ED. You're in recovery, but it is like being an alcoholic. It's exactly the same. You can easily slip off the wagon and get back into that behaviour, because it's a pattern of behaviour, and any stressors can trigger that to happen again.
Exactly.
But with her, it seems...
But they don't follow.
She is the worst. She has the worst case of gastroparesis the world has ever known, even though she's not extremely underweight and she's not extremely malnourished. And you can't possibly have food going into your body, but I know of multiple people who have gastroparesis and who are encouraged by their dietitians to eat, to keep their stomach having some form of movement. But she'll claim her stomach is completely paralysed, yet her tube in her nose keeps on moving out, which it only does if the stomach's contracting. Therefore, it can't possibly be completely paralysed.
Yeah, so for me, I have partial paralysis of my stomach, so I can manage with a very slow rate of feed into my stomach. And, you know, I am having trouble tolerating it, and, you know, my dietitian has recommended that we do look into an NJ tube, but at the same time, that doesn't, you know, and it makes everybody feel like, when she says, like, nobody with gastroparesis can have an NG tube, that's not just, you know, offending me, that's offending a whole community. And, you know, like, there's little kids with gastroparesis that can tolerate G feeds. Because just because you have gastroparesis doesn't mean that it's always going to be full paralysis. And I'm still encouraged to eat by mouth. Because a big thing, obviously, like, your esophagus is a muscle as well. So you don't use it, you lose it. And even just trying to, at the same time, get my stomach, you know, used to having some solid foods in it. Whether that's, you know, my safe foods. But, like, it's just, and it absolutely, and I don't think she realizes just how much it affects people, and how
not any medication for gastroparesis either.
I can't be on medication for my gastroparesis solely because of my heart condition. It prolongs the QT interval in my heart, and where mine is already prolonged. I was on them in the hospital. I was on motility medication and nausea medication, which both prolonged QT in your heart. And my heart rate, the interval, became so prolonged that it almost caused me to go into cardiac arrest. So I'm currently not allowed to go on any type of those medications just because of how dangerous they are.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is she doesn't know what those medications are.
We know
Yeah,
what they
exactly.
are because we've got their diagnosis, an actual diagnosis, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
And the medication she does take, we both know, and probably everybody else here knows, they will make it worse.
I've got gastroparesis and I still eat orally. Yes, it may come back out. I'm not going to say any other words in case it gets, but yes, it may come back out, but I still eat. It doesn't like me. It causes me a huge amount of pain, but they don't want to put in an NJ or an NG just yet. We are trying.
I do
other
have
things
to
first.
pop off, so I am going to leave. I just wanted to come on and kind of talk about all of that stuff.
What on earth does that mean? All
that's
her
fine,
mods are the
Hayley.
same colour.
Thank you so much,
Look
Em.
after yourself,
Hang on, hang
sweetheart.
on. That's
Bye,
fine,
guys.
Hayley. Take care, and you know where I am. Message me if you need me. Heather, can I trust you to behave yourself for 5 minutes while I go to the toilet for a piddle?
Yes, but I'm not going to talk. Have a look at your WhatsApp.
Right, okay, I'll check that in a second. Right, there's Ashton is going to be leaving in a minute, so if we could let him or her. I'm sorry,
I'll keep an eye on things.
Thank you. I don't want to. I don't want to assume.
Put the cat in charge, Emily. Put the cat in charge.
Yeah,
No,
put the
he's
cat in charge.
crazy. That ginger cat. That ginger cat.
I don't want to assume. I don't want to assume your gender, Ashton, but you have the floor. I am literally just going to run for a pee, and then I'll be straight back down again. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I've never done this before. I don't know how to start it, but
Don't worry.
Katie,
Take your time.
I think it was the same live that Katie was on about earlier to do with the catheter. And I had asked, like in the chat bit on her live, if it was safe, like when you're in the shower and stuff, to take the bag off of your catheter and just go in with an open catheter. And this was when I'd only had it for a few days at this point. And so I didn't know what I was doing. I'd got it in A&E, and the A&Es in my area are always very rushed, and get treatment, go see a specialist about it. And she had said that was fine. So I was doing that, and then I found out 2 weeks later when I saw my specialist that I had actually given myself a really bad infection from it. Yeah, that was...
I was slightly different. So I've got a urostomy, but I've got a catheter inside the urostomy. And it's a difficult one because technically you can like shower without having like a catheter bag on, technically, but it does make you more susceptible, like a higher risk of infection.
Yeah.
It's just a risk you have to take or not take.
Yeah, it was, there was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember it now.
It's a personal choice. I'll only do it very rarely. But yeah.
Because I've now got district nurses coming out, and whenever I've mentioned it to them, they've told me no way, no matter what, like no way.
What you can do is get what you call a spigot.
Yeah, I've got one of them.
Yeah, you can use that instead of having it just open. If you don't want a bag on when you're showering.
Yeah. The other thing was, it was to do with the gastroparesis. Okay, yeah.
Ashton, you can also get something called a flip flow as well, which is like a little tap valve as well that can go in into the catheter. So if you didn't want a bag, a flip flow is another really good thing to be able to use as well, because you can have control over when you empty your bladder as well with the flip flow. So it it's a good progression if your team say that you're allowed to have it. Obviously, the best thing to do is ask your team about other options to go in the end if you don't just want a drainage bag, because there is multiple companies out there that do catheter branding that offer loads of things that they can send out. Samples. So when you speak to your urology team, ask them to get samples sent out to you with things, and ask them what things you can try. So don't be scared to ask. But just don't take other people's words for it as well, because you always go back to your team and always double check with your team, always.
Yeah. part of the reason I had trusted her was because it was me and my friend had followed her for a good while. I don't know how long. And I've got Ehlers-Danlos, POTS and gastroparesis as well. And to me, a lot of the things at the time, I mean, I was 16, a lot of the things she was saying was lining up. But then it only really started hitting me that some of the things she was saying weren't lining up, whereas when I'd said something about it was impressive how she always managed to get her hair so neat and tidy, and then I got banned from the live. And I'd started searching on TikTok about just, I guess, more information, and that was when things started coming up and I was realising things weren't lining up.
Ashton, have you spoken to Sally yet?
No, I don't know who that is.
Emily, do you want to give him Sally's details?
Sally on TikTok goes as Ranty Sal. If you search for Ranty Sal, the account pops up straight away. If you message her, she's far more equipped to advise you with all of that, because she's got experience with family members with all of that, whereas I don't. So I can advise you on the EDS, I can advise you on the POTS, and I can advise you on anything that's below the stomach and intestines. I can advise you on those things, but I can't advise on the stomach and the intestines, gastroparesis, anything with regards to that, whereas Sally will be able to advise you really, really well with all of that. But if, like I said, if you search...
You were very young as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially with that, she's... Basically, me, Heather, Christy, like you can see Heather and Christy in here, me, Heather, Christy, and Sally, and quite a few other people are all working together to get this to go forward. But Sally is basically the mum of all of it. Yeah. So if you go direct to Sally, she will be able to put you in touch with the safeguarding team as well, because you were... essentially, well, you were legally a child, then it can be dealt with in the way that it needs to be dealt with, because you were a child when all of that happened, as opposed to, say, me, for example, I'm nearly 40. So my experience with her comes under a different area, because I wasn't underage. I was vulnerable, but I wasn't underage. So while mine comes under social work, yours comes under safeguarding and social work. So she'll be able to take your statement, take any information and any evidence that you've got, and also sign it, post you to the right people to actually help you with your health issues as well. So Sally is the best person to contact.
Yeah. Okay,
can I just say, anyone giving medical advice here, make sure you always go back to your medical teams. You know, we've all got different medical problems between us, so we can all offer help and advice, but always go back to your team, medical teams with it. Even if it's just your GP or a local pharmacist or someone, always go and back it up and ask your appropriate teams, because we might even get it wrong, or we may have been told something wrong, or misunderstood something, or we've learnt something a certain way and it's different in with certain conditions, because all our conditions vary. So just because someone says they've got gastroparesis and someone else says they've got gastroparesis, the severity varies dramatically. And same with EDS and everything else.
We're not doctors.
Yeah.
No.
So we can help and advise and support, but always back it up, going back to your medical teams. That's the best advice I can always give you, is if you're ever unsure, speak to your medical teams and they'd rather you ask questions, and even be it silly questions. The amount of silly questions I've asked, it's unreal, and I've laughed with the nurses. Do you know what I mean? But if it's a silly question, or if it's a question in your mind, it's a question for a reason. They've heard everything, so just make sure you always go back to your medical teams.
Especially from me.
Guys, I'm gonna step down, but thank you for having me, and thank you for doing what you're doing. And I'm really sorry that somebody has unfortunately lost their lives over this.
Yeah.
Beg pardon, sorry.
I said I'm very sorry.
You weren't here, Heather.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'll catch you up now.
Yeah, I'm just Yeah, she's obviously now, I felt sorry for her before, but now she's dangerous as well.
Yeah, she is very, clearly
It's
very
a bit
dangerous.
complicated. But yeah, I hope you guys get a result with social services, police, etc. sooner, because this has happened.
Yes.
But yeah, have a good evening, or try to, at least.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for sharing your story. Same with you, Ashton. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your story.
Can I just say, sorry, I've got one more question.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know how to word it, but one of my family members has factitious disorder, and part
Sorry, I'm not laughing at that. I feel really
No, it's
awful.
alright.
I wasn't laughing at that.
It's alright, don't worry. Part of the reason it went on for so long with her was because she, not only did she start believing some of it herself, but she got scared to admit to people what she'd been doing. Do you think part of that might be the case with Kirsten, that she's scared to admit it and almost scared of the repercussions if she does admit it?
It's very possible. I think that at least some part of it is that she's scared of losing people, because she doesn't have friends. She literally has no friends. She has people on TikTok, and that is it. And the only people in her family that actually bother with her is basically her dad, and that is it. But the problem is, the longer she goes on with all these lies, the worse it's going to be, and the more people that are just going to go, I don't want anything to do with you. Whereas if she just stopped now and said, look, now that this has happened, I'm going to come clean and get it dealt with and get it sorted. But as many people are commenting, she's in too deep. She can't now. And I think it's got to a point where she's so locked in on all the lies that the only way that she could fix things is to just come off the app. That is the only way she can fix things, because she can't undo the mental and physical damage that she has caused to so many people. I mean, Heather will agree with me here. When we first started this, we kind of...
5 of us.
Yeah, there was 5 of us, and we guesstimated that at most, at the very most, there'd be about 50 people. Now, because I did my last live, I had loads of new people, same as I have tonight. I've had loads of new people come on and share their stories as well. We're now looking at 500 people. That's the figure I've discovered, because I've sat and done the boring geeky maths of it all, and on Sally's lives, my lives, other people's lives, and then other accounts that have been made, and then people commented on those videos. At least 500 people have been affected by her, and it's awful, because the focus for some people, they try and focus on, oh well, what about the money that she's had off people? What about the stuff she's got people to buy for her? And while that is important, that is a part of it, in my opinion, that's not the worst part of it. The worst part of it is the mental effects that she has had on other people. Yeah. That is the worst part. And obviously now we've heard what we heard of Katie. You weren't on here, Heather.
I'm really sorry. I have to go because I'm really not feeling very well.
Okay, Heather, please contact KiKi or the girls.
Yeah, I'll give away the message.
Okay, thank you. Please do.
I hope you're okay.
Love you, honey. Bye. Thanks.
Love you, darling. Hi, Safi. As we've heard of Katie, and obviously I still don't know who it is. I haven't checked my messages. I won't be able to check them until after I've come off the live. But as we heard of Katie, someone in her circle has passed away, has lost their life because of her.
Yeah.
It needs to stop now. It needs to stop. She needs to be made to stop, because we all knew this was going to happen. We all said it was only a matter of time before someone was unalived as a direct result of her. We knew it was going to happen, and now it has.
I actually know about this. This is why I wanted to pop on quickly.
Don't share their names, Safi.
No, I'm 100% not. But basically, advice that she had given is basically what has happened to this girl. it was a friend of mine's friend, and that's what's got to me. And now I absolutely lost my shit, so I have gone to the police about it, and it's awful because she should not be given advice. Even when people message me and ask me, and I'm like, the best thing you can go to your GP is, because everyone's different, this is the thing, but after what's happened now, I'm like, they have to do something. This is beyond ridiculous now. Like, someone has now died because of this, and it's like, I was in tears the other night. I completely broke. I just thought, well, how can it have got this far? But unfortunately, unless people have got the recording of what was said to her and stuff like that, or the actual evidence, there's no way of any of us proving it. This is the thing. Like, no matter how many of us sort of say, there's not really much proof-wise that we can do, and that's the most infuriating part.
Well, what we need to do, I think, is for all of us to, obviously, number one, everyone reach out to anyone you know that's in her circle. If only to give them support. Hopefully, I'm keeping everything crossed for you that it's not someone that any of the rest of you know, or that anyone's linked to family-wise. Obviously, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Her sister had messaged me.
What I will say is, if we can share the news safely, even if you do find out the name, please don't share the name, because think of it, their family, they don't want to put out there yet. I'm not talking to you directly, Snaffy, I'm talking to everyone.
Yeah, no. I feel like it's a privacy thing for the family. I feel like right now they're going through a lot, and this is going to be a massive thing now. And I know a lot of people are going to be bringing it up and stuff like that. But I know I've got a lot of people actually messaging me now asking, but I want to just let everyone know, please don't message me about it, because I won't be obviously given a name or any details on exactly what had happened. All I can say was that it was about advice, and then it was a lot of bullying. And that's all I can really go into with it. But that's as much details that I'm going to share.
I agree with you completely. I agree with you completely, Safi. What I will say is, if everyone can share the news far and wide with being respectful to a family. So if you do find out the name, do not share it. Anyone, please don't. Any of you share it. But
her sister has got social media, so I don't want it being. I don't want her being hounded. It's not the right time.
If we can find someone who has a screen recording, that's what we need. We need a screen recording of it.
That will help us so much. What I'll do is I'll put the police reference number that I've got on a video as well. So then anyone that does any more reports or has any evidence of any kind, just everyone try and share my post when I do it. I'm going to hope to do it tomorrow morning, because we really need that to get things moving even more, because unfortunately everyone doing different reports, it's hard to get it all together, because obviously we all live in different areas and stuff like that. But if I have written it down, a reference number, but I'll put that on the video and stuff, and then everyone can just add on to it from what they know and whatever evidence they have. Because
and if everyone
it shouldn't have got this far.
If everyone could repost that, and if everyone could if anyone has any screen recordings of anything that sounds remotely close to that, please send it to Safi or send it to Sally, because we need this to get into the right. We need that evidence to get into the right hands, so that we can actually get this dealt with.
Because they've heard lots online, but they don't have a full picture, and I think that's the thing. This is why now I'm like, I don't care if I get banned off TikTok or anything now, because I'm just there that's it. Someone's lost their life because of someone else's actions and advice, and it needs to be dealt with now. But I'm kind of like now, so I will be doing a video.
Emily, can you hear me?
It'll be all right. Hello,
KiKi.
She's live at the moment. She's saying she's not had everything from birth. She's definitely got a central line in her chest, and she's
I saw that.
apparently the rumours are going around aren't true about someone passing away.
Oh, I want to hit the roof.
And it's now non-diabetic hypoglycemia.
Oh my god.
I'm literally watching her on my other account at the moment, and it's just, I'm fuming at the moment. I really am. She's just, you know, when you just want to say something, but I can't on this account because otherwise I'm going to get blocked again.
It's getting really nasty to people.
No, it's terrible. All I can say is I can confirm what's being rumoured is actually true. Anyone that knows me knows I don't
rejected because it went to panel.
This girl is just, it's too much. It's absolutely freaking awful.
Can
I'm so sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Sorry.
Anyone who's not talking, could you mute yourself because it's echoing for some reason?
Oh, that might have been me. Sorry, my phone's balanced.
Am I okay asking what Sally's username is again?
It's Ranty Sal. So RNTYSAL.
That's such a good name, I've got to admit.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Ashton. And you can stay in the live and message me anytime. We're all here for everyone. Like anyone who's concerned that they don't have people to support them in their journey with chronic illness. We're all a weird, freaky family. None of us are normal, but who wants to be normal anyway? We're all slightly left of centre, but you all will be supported 100%. 100% supported.
But do you know what I mean? I think sometimes as well, different areas can have different levels of criteria. So I don't think there is yet a broad spectrum for a specific.
I think you're right. I don't think there's a blanket spectrum, but I also think
that's what I was trying to think
down
of.
to personal perspective as well.
The thing is it me or you? I don't know whether anyone else kind of knows, but you just get an inkling, don't you? Something just kind of.
Yeah. There's too many discrepancies in stories.
I think the thing is knowing I've walked into patients that haven't got anything wrong, and you have to go along with it to some degree. It is very, very hard, but I think it's actually more mentally and physically draining on people around them than it is actually themselves, because they've got themselves in this perfect little bubble. They're believing everything, and it's only when that bubble pops will I think the full impact hit her, and I think that's when the SHIT is going to hit the fan.
Yeah. And I just think that I don't think she has realised the impact that she's had on the wider community.
Would you say if the police were able to attend with the local ambulance service, that there could be a concern for welfare, mental health check done?
I wouldn't say more it would be police job, but I think it'd be more safeguarding. As opposed to police. I think if myself, I think there's I know it's not the official term now, but it's like the Munchausen's. I think there's been cases that I've come across where patients have had similar presentations, and I've personally safeguarded them for it. They're a danger to themselves, and they're a danger to potentially other people.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Obviously, Emily, we can't hear you. Can't hear you, Emily.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very evident from tonight that she is a danger to other people. It's very, very evident tonight. And it's she needs to be stopped. And me, KiKi, Heather, Sally, we ain't going to stop until she gets sectioned. We're not going to stop, and she needs a dad to take it away for a start, because the dad is facilitating all of it and enabling her. So he needs to be removed. So she's got
I
someone
think her dad's scared because he's being threatened that if he doesn't follow her actions, that she will do something to herself.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's already lost a child. He doesn't want to lose another one. And I think that's heartbreaking that he's in that situation. That either way, he's doing harm to his child. But what choice? He's being torn in every direction, and I feel kind of sorry for him.
I have spots in the box.
I was just about to say the same.
2 seconds. What did you say, babe? Yeah, my partner just said, how many times did I tell you not to ring an ambulance for her? But I still did.
But if you're her mod on her live at that time, and you're the only person, apart from obviously however many people are watching her, has got access to be able to call her help, and you don't, and something actually happens to her, you're liable as well, because do you know what I mean? And you
Liable
could be
for criminal court case, yeah.
You know, and you don't want that. It's hard enough, you know, seeing friends and family involved, let alone people who are being dragged in, going through a lot themselves, getting that pressure on. You know, you're not necessarily medically trained in understanding, actually, this isn't okay, this is okay, this does need an ambulance, this doesn't need an ambulance. And, you know, I don't know if Stephanie will agree with me, but we'd rather get called and it be nothing than actually not be called and it be something, because it's heartbreaking when it is something and we haven't been called and we could have done something and it ends the wrong way.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. You know, there's been numerous times we've gone to seizures, and by the time we've got there, they've stopped or they're not what they've appeared to be. But again, just reiterating what Casey's just said, 100% all the time, we would rather go and not be needed than that one time be needed and not be there.
Yeah.
Because if being the key thing, that she does have epilepsy or fits, it can go downhill very quickly to the point where you need to act quickly, and it shouldn't be on vulnerable people to make that decision. And it shouldn't, even as a parent, it's a scary thing to do. Do you know what I mean? To have to call an ambulance for your child, let alone a friend and everyone else. It's like when my friend rang me up, who lives in another city, and she was like, I'm really, really struggling. I can't call an ambulance. I'm too scared. Can you do it? And the only way she got medical help was by me ringing the ambulance. But I was actually in hospital myself at the time, and the pressure of me having to make sure she got help was huge, because if she didn't, I knew what the consequences were going to be.
Yeah.
But she was still, in a way, she was still a friend. But I did politely say afterwards, please don't put that pressure on me again. I said, I'll be there any day of the week for you, but I can't have that pressure on me, because if I'd done something wrong, it doesn't go bare thinking about.
Yeah. What did you want to say, Maz? Maz support is from the police and has something to say.
Okay.
Hi everybody. I'm just trying to help you here. I'm new in this room. But basically what happens if somebody's in crisis like that, like obviously I've been dealing with this situation a lot now, but if anybody's in crisis with that, they shouldn't put pressure on anybody else. They should automatically contact the ambulance service, myself, like the police itself, and basically
Can I just tell you that I rang the police about a vulnerable adult yesterday on this app who wanted to do something because of a direct action from a live yesterday, who openly messaged 4 people to say that she was going to do actions. I rang the police. The police's response were, we can't action anything unless you've got full name, address, this and this. She wasn't giving anything out. She was doing nothing. Said, we can't do anything. Yeah, which I understand, because my brother works for the police, but it was heartbreaking that there was nothing that could happen. This app stuck to some degree. There's got to be a way that emergency services can access details to get people help and support.
Yeah, it's basically us. If we get our information, then obviously we can go around and do a welfare check on her. And if she needs like hospital treatment, then obviously it's the paramedics. But if she turns violent, then we have to go in the ambulance with her, and then basically if she's still violent in the hospital, we can then detain her on a 136, which is obviously mental health, the way she's like behaving, and we can actually take her to a secure unit where she'll see a psychiatrist and everybody else.
I think it's difficult for everyone involved because, like, there's someone in the comments talking about the mods enabling her and just watching her sleep and all this jazz. Now, you've got to understand that every single one of her mods is vulnerable in one way or another. Every single one of them. And from my perspective, I was seeing a little girl that wasn't looked after by her parents. Her mum didn't care. Her dad was barely around. And if he was around, he was literally there for 5 minutes to help her out and then he'd leave her. There were numerous occasions where she would have, from what I obviously at the time believed to be very serious seizures, and her dad would be there for 30 seconds and would then leave her again. And I'm sat there as a parent thinking, what if that was my kid? I'd never leave my kid if he was in that state. What the hell is wrong?
No, you don't leave your kid if they're in that situation, to be honest.
No. And so you sat there and you sit with that person for longer then because you think, well, someone needs to care for her, so okay, I'll care for her. And she manipulates you in such a way that you believe every word that comes out of her mouth, and then when she drops I'm feeling really down, and she has ideation or she's threatening SH, then you feel like you don't have a choice but to help her out. And it's an awful position to be in.
Yeah, but that's putting the pressure on you. That's putting the pressure on other people.
Yeah, but that's what she did to all of us. Every single mod, that's what she did to every single one of us.
And she's still doing it, I believe.
It's attention seeking then. I'm sorry, but it is.
It is. And she does that, and then what happens, she will come on live with bruising on her neck from her attempt, and it will be, oh, Dad had to come, and Dad's the one who saved me. But Dad never stays. I'm sorry, but if I walked in and my child was doing something involving their neck that would leave bruises, I wouldn't be leaving my child that night.
I wouldn't leave my one section.
Nothing could take me away from my child that night. I'm telling you now, there would be a cold day in hell before I left my child in that situation. And it broke my heart as a mum to see her in that situation, and the fact that she lives alone and she doesn't have full-time care. And I'm sat there thinking, your daughter's oh so poorly and you're doing nothing to help her. Why aren't you getting her a full-time carer? Why aren't you doing X, Y, Z? There's all these things you could be doing for her and you doing none of them. And then obviously now I know the truth. I know it's all absolute bullshit.
The thing is though, Emily, if she is living on her own and she's apparently got all these illnesses, she should have full-time carers.
100%. 100%.
Well, apparently they've gone to committee for the council to provide her with more care, but it's not full-time because she doesn't meet the requirements. But the carers that they are looking at the moment are longer hours in the morning, longer hours in the evening, but the longer time in the morning are to assess whether she can go out and about, and they have to do a daily risk assessment for her going out and about, basically.
So it's a week.
Give her some more normality back into her life,
The
basically.
assessments, Katie, is up to 2 to 3 months to do assessments.
No, it's already gone to. So she said on the live earlier, it's already gone to PAL. It's already gone to whatever it needs to. They're just putting the plan in place now. So it's been going on for a while, this new assessment. But the thing is when someone has a fit, the chances of you refitting can increase. Do you know what I mean? Especially if it's medication induced, because the medication can peak again. Especially if you've got gastroparesis, and then I suppose regardless of how it's going in, it has got it's got the initial peak, levels out a little bit, and it can do a little peak again. So you can get different responses from it. So
I suppose it's a bit like a cocaine addict in a way. They've obviously overdone it on the coke. You give them Narcan, and then they may need another second dose of Narcan.
My cat's going in my bag.
Oh,
I didn't mean to.
3.9.
You are clearly hiding treats in there, Katie. Stop being mean and give them to
No, the only treats I've got in there are Haribo sweets for the cinema. Unless the cat likes Haribo, but I don't know because I haven't tried.
To be fair, one of our cats, Christian, and this was when he was a little tiny kitten, Christian walked into the room eating a bag of those Walker's Thai Sweet Chili Crisps, dropped one on the floor by accident, and our cat, and Blue, the littlest, ran straight over to it, picked it up in his teeth, and Christian went, he ain't going to eat that, it's too spicy. Oh, that cat ate that crisp like that, it was gone. We have a dog. We literally have a dog cat. He will play fetch. He will sit at you. He will circle you, so you give him footy, he follows you into the kitchen and sits there with his little tail twitching. He is a dog.
Before, you had a ginger cat that was dangling its tail, and at first I thought it was a snake. I was like, are you mad having a snake?
No,
I
I
thought it was a snake.
That's
Floyd used to like what's it?
Bluebell.
Oh. Okay, so my cat, Emily's seen both of them, well, one of my cats.
You're cute. You look like Binks.
Oh, you look like Winnie.
That's
Hey,
strange.
baby.
Oh, I love the ginger one.
Isn't it weird we all go soppy over pets?
That's my big
Is that just me?
I think my next door neighbour's got the best cat name ever. Dave the cat.
Oh, that's cat.
And he's got a little sticky bow tie on as well. He's literally got a little bow tie on.
I've got a cat called Felix and a cat called Winifred.
They're great names.
I'm going to
If you
jump
know
off because I'm
Winifred,
actually
you know
at work
where
at the
it's
minute.
from.
But if
Is
you
it
need any
Hocus
information,
Pocus?
give us a shout.
All right, Maz, thank you very much. Have a good night at work. I'm going to be coming off in a minute because I need to sleep because my meds are kicking in, my strong meds. So I'll just take live and I don't want to do a Kirsten.
So you can show how it's done properly, Emily.
Who wants to ask a question?
Me, quickly. My cat has run off. Really stupid, right? So, long story short, we gave my cat to an elderly lady, got her back, sorry. We've kept him in for 2 days, kept her in for 2 days, and then put butter on her feet. She's gone out, she's disappeared. Will she come back?
Yeah.
How far away did the lady live?
Quite far away.
So there wouldn't be any risk of scent then?
No. What she's probably doing, KiKi, you took her away from all of her boyfriends. So she's re-establishing dominance with all of the boyfriends, dealing with all the lady cats that have been playing around with her boyfriends, and she'll come back. Have you had her done, or has she not been done?
Yes, she's been done. She's been chipped.
Okay, so you don't need to worry about her coming back, Preggers, then. She'll come back, looking a bit worse for wear, probably. Looking a bit chunkier than
2 days. I went round the whole entire state. Cool. I look like an idiot.
On the other social media page.
Winifred! Can you imagine? My neighbour's going to think I'm on crack or something, I swear. Honestly, people are looking at me like, you alright, love? I was like, I just lost my cat, don't worry.
Well, maybe on the other
Bojangles, KiKi. Patty fucking Bojangles. Thanks to Christian suggesting that as the name for Elliot to call his cat. And then when we went to the vets to register him, what did Christian do? Don't forget to remind your mum of what his full name is. So he is registered at the vets as Tatty Bojangles. So anytime I ring up to book him in, what do you think they make me do? Say his full freaking name because they think it's hilarious. All my other cats have normal names, but no, not Tatty. Tatty is Tatty Bojangles.
KiKi, I had a cat. He literally decided he was like a bagpuss cat. He was big, bless him. He was gorgeous. He decided he wanted to go for a 6 weeks holiday with the bin men. It was about 20 minutes down the road from where I lived. He decided. He was an indoor cat. Henry didn't really go out. He was quite an old cat when I adopted him. I was only a teenager. He used to just stay in my bedroom. And I kid you not, he went on a little field trip with the bin men and just stayed away for 6 weeks. I mean, I think for about 2.5 weeks he was at the vets and they didn't tell us, to be fair. But yeah, he decided to go from one area to another and have a little explore. But if you've got another social media platform that you can't say on this one, maybe just put a little, if you've got like a little village or town post, you can just put a post, has anyone seen it? And you never know. You might have an old lady down the road that's been giving him biscuits, because they do that, don't they?
His mat out that's obviously got a scent on. I hate going around the neighbourhood because like it's bad enough this neighbourhood's a bit funky sometimes, shall we say, a bit funky. But we've already got one crazy lady over the road. Now everyone's going to think I'm the same, going around catcalling random cats.
Yeah, because
we've got privacy. So why do you care? Just own it, or get your sister to do it. Because everyone already knows that Heather's crazy, so you know what I mean, it don't matter.
No, just we've had people literally feeding other people's cats around here and they've had to say, look, don't. And that might be it. Someone might have just gone, don't recognise this cat, it might not have a home, start feeding it. So just put a post out somewhere, just say, this is my, this is my cat, has anyone seen it? And they might go, oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah. We have
He's a little shithead sometimes, sorry to say.
Put an air tag on it.
Yeah. Cade's missing an eye, and Cade was very, very skinny, and so his nickname was Slink because he was so tiny. And there was he kept on coming home and not eating his dinner, and we couldn't understand why he wasn't eating his dinner when all the other cats were eating all theirs. And we discovered that he didn't have one house. No, he didn't have 2 houses. He had 3 fecking houses with old ladies, one of whom was literally buying fish from the fishmongers and cooking it for him.
The Observer, providing you with the latest TikTok drama from across the UK.